Cloth simulation in 3ds Max provides a very powerful tool for simulating the complex interaction of cloth with other objects in the scene. In this lesson, we're going to use the Mass Effects mCloth modifier to simulate a hanging curtain that gets torn by a rotating machine. In the Quick Access toolbar, click Open, then navigate to the Chapter 9 subdirectory and open the file Chapter 9 dynamiccloth01.max. When the scene opens, you'll see a checkered curtain hanging next to a post with a sphere on one side and a cone on the other. In the camera view, click on the red and white checkered plane. This object is named Curtain 001 and is the one we will be using for the simulation. Make sure the Mass Effects toolbar is open. Before we move on, click play on the VCR controls and watch the animation. You'll see that the post with the sphere and the cone rotate and go through the curtain. Our objective is to have the curtain go over the sphere but get torn by the point of the cone. Stop the animation. In the Command panel, switch over to the Modify panel. And here we can see that this is a plain primitive object. The first step we need to take is to add an mCloth modifier to the plane. With the curtain selected, click on the Set Selected as mCloth Object option in the Mass Effects toolbar. It's the icon that looks like a t-shirt. This adds an mCloth modifier to the Curtain 001 object and turns it into a dynamic cloth object. Next, in order for the cloth to interact with the rotating objects, we need to make the objects we want the cloth to interact with kinematic rigid body objects. This will allow animated objects to interact with other objects in the simulation. From the Selection Set drop-down, choose the Rotating Post selection set. This selects all the rotating objects. From the Mass Effects toolbar, click on the Rigid Body drop-down and choose the Set Selected as Kinematic Rigid Body option. Now the curtain and the rotating objects will interact in the simulation. Click Start Simulation to see the results of the current configuration. Not quite what we had in mind. Stop and reset the simulation. Select the Curtain 001 object. There are several steps we need to take to make the curtain act the way we would like it to act. First, scroll the Modify panel to the Physical Fabric Properties rollout. Here we can set the type of material the curtain is made from. Click Load from the Presets option. In the mCloth Presets dialog, double-click Cotton to make the curtain behave like cotton. The next step is to pin the top row of vertices. Click the plus sign to the left of the mCloth modifier in the modifier stack. Then click on the Vertex subobject level. In the front viewport, click and drag to select the top row of vertices on the curtain. If you selected them all, you will see the entire top row of vertices turn red. In the Modify panel, under the Group rollout, click Make Group. In the Make Group dialog, name the group Pinned and click OK. Click Pin in the constraint area. This will cause the vertices to be pinned in place during the simulation. Start the simulation again. The curtain is now hit by the sphere and the cone. Notice how it flows over the sphere, then gets snagged by the cone, yet still stays in one piece. Now let's add a seam where the fabric will tear. Stop and reset the animation. Make sure the Vertex subobject is selected for the mCloth modifier. Now drag and select a single row of vertices at about the same height as the tip of the cone. Drag across and select the row right about here. Click Make Tear in the Modify panel. In the Make Group dialog, enter Tear in the name and click OK. Click mCloth to close the subobject. In the modifier panel, scroll the panel up till you get to the tearing rollout. Make sure the Allow Tearing checkbox is checked. Start the simulation again and see what happens to the curtain this time. Watch as the curtain still flows over the sphere. However, the curtain now tears when it is snagged by the cone. Stop and reset the simulation. Go ahead and save the file.